didn't even introduce yourself.
I didn't even introduce myself. Wow, I knew going in.
We have to learn how to love kids.
I really learned myself.
85% of our calls are EMS.
And that's not only for police, but, it is for firefighters and 911 telecommunicators.
Our last guest is going to be a great show today.
Mm-hmm.
God said, come as you are, right?
You gotta go down memory lane. Oh, man. No, that was really cool.
Great conversation, you guys. Wow.
You know it feels so good.
All right, good morning, Joy 1340 AM listeners. We are back in the building this morning, and I am Officer Ralph McClain of the Milwaukee Police Department, the Office of Community Relations, Engagement, and Recruitment, and I'm here with my co-host.
You getting used to saying it, I could tell. You're getting used to saying the new name. It's coming off smoother now. But yeah, my name is Jordan Dickerson. I am one of the recruiters with the City of Milwaukee Fire and Police Commission, and we are back with episode, what number?
40.
The Big 40, the Big 40. We are back with episode 40 of The Conversation. It has truly been a blessing to be able to co-host this radio show, man. It's been a blessing to have all these guests on. And I'm just always honored and grateful for it. So, yeah, we are back with episode 40 of The Conversation.
Yeah, we appreciate all the listeners since Jordan and I have been hosting this interview show, and all the people, all the guests in the past that have been on this. So we are truly honored, and we don't take it for granted. Those who chosen to come into the studio, and those out there that are listening too. If you've either sent comments our way or have seen us and gave us inspirational words, so we really appreciate that. And we're going forward 4-0. Here we are.
Yes, sir.
All right. And as we always like to say at the top of the show, the Milwaukee Police Department is hiring for those who have ever thought about putting on the uniform and serving this great community of ours. We are hiring. The application is posted to the City of Milwaukee Jobs website, and Jordan has some information regarding that.
Yep. So if you ever have any questions about wanting to become a police officer, what's the process like, or even if you're interested in our firefighter position, we have police aides and fire cadets, which is our youth program. If you ever have any questions at all, you can feel free to text this number right here. It's 414-519-6190. Again, that's 414-519-6190. Text that number, any questions that you have. Also, we are having an open house on October 5th. All right, so that's a chance and an opportunity for you, if you are interested in either one of these career fields, for you to come out to the academy, tour it. We'll be able to talk about, what the process is like. You'll be able to speak with some members on the department as well. We'll have specialty units. You'll be able to apply on site. It's going to be a really good, informative event. So if you just, are curious about more information, definitely come out to that on October 5th. If you want more information about that as well, again, you can text that number, 414-519-6190, and I'll be sure to text you that information. And that's happening Saturday, October 5th, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
At the Milwaukee Police Academy, 6680 North Teutonia Avenue. Indeed. And in the studio today.
Yes, sir. So without further ado, always got to introduce the guest. Today I got me a special guest. We were actually supposed to do this episode some time back, right? It's a time back, but things always work out how they're supposed to in God's timing. And before I even introduce you, I just want to know, do you remember how we met?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a funny story about how we met, right? So today I got here in the studio with us, I got Leandre Poe. He's a musician, musical artist. He makes gospel music, praise and worship music. So welcome to the show, first and foremost.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yes, man. I'm truly blessed to have you on here. But yeah, funny story about how we met. And I always say that, you can kind of tell when things are like God ordained, and like God placed you in a certain spot for a certain reason, and this certain interaction happened so that we can meet. Still, we don't always understand the reason and the purpose behind it exactly in that moment, but we know that it was God ordained. So it was when back I was going to Experience Fitness, and I was going to the gym. I'm out there working out by myself and everything. And then I remember at the beginning of my workout, and this is before I stopped listening to all my rap and trap music and stuff like that. Now, honestly, 95% of the time I'm listening to my gospel worship music or my gospel rap music and stuff. But so I'm at the gym, and I'm getting ready to do my planks, and I'm like, man, like, you know, I should put on a gospel song to help me get through this plank. And in my mind, I was like, nah, I want to save that for when I go to the sauna, because I always end my workouts in the sauna, and I wanted to like listen to some like real nice music just to kind of like end out the workout. So complete my workout, I head to the sauna, and now I'm over there listening to my gospel music, but I'm over there blasting it. You know, I'm over there jamming to it, bobbing my head and everything. And I didn't know that you could actually hear the music. I didn't know that he could hear the music that I was listening to. I'm over there just vibing to my songs and everything. So I get ready, I head out to sauna, and he comes out, and he's like, hey man, you know, what you say? Like,
I said, I see you listen to Christian music,
Yeah.
gospel music. And I was like, well, I'm an artist, man. I got some music.
Yeah.
I want you to check it out, you know.
And that's kind of how. But the crazy part is, I think even before you even said, you know, you listen to Christian music, you just asked me, you know, to check out your music. And at first, I'm thinking like, what type of, you know, how people come up to you like,
for sure.
oh, this person want me to check out their music. I hope it's good and everything like that. But then I went to him and I seen he, like you said, it was gospel music and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, that's what's up. Like another young brother making music like this, like that. That's cool. And then when I listened to it, I was like, oh yeah, this is fire right here. It ain't like your other stuff. Like it was actually some really good music. But I appreciate you for doing that. And honestly, it's something that you had to be like courageous and obedient in that moment too, because it's not your everyday thing where you just gonna walk up to somebody out of the song and be like, hey, what you listening to, right?
Yeah.
But you was obedient, and that's kind of how we all kind of started in that. So definitely appreciate that.
Because your next song after that song that you was listening to could have been Moneybag Yo.
Hey, right.
And you know, nothing against Moneybag
No,
Yo.
yeah.
But I'm just saying that could have been your next song.
Yeah,
so
no,
for him
facts.
to even walk
for
up
sure.
and say, hey, I hear, you know, what you listening to.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's get into the music side of things for a little bit, Lee. How long have you been making music for? And like, has it always been, you know, more like praise, worship, gospel music, or was there a shift at all during that time?
I've been recording music. I dropped my first single 2020. But as far as doing music, like singing, praise and worship, I've been singing all my life.
Okay.
I was always a musician. I played the keys growing up. I was one that wanted to be different. All my family sings, so you wouldn't even know. Like, I didn't start really singing until like 2017.
Oh, really?
Like out in front of everybody. So
So you used to sing privately, but you
in the shower,
right?
something like that, you know. But I was always like, you know, everybody else sing. I want to be different. I'm gonna just play keys, you know. And then I felt the pull. I got married 2016, so 2017 I felt like God was like, yo, it's time, and I'm like singing, no, you know. And then I finally just stepped out there, and it was just like, it was a God thing, you know. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So 2017 is when I officially started singing out in front of everybody. Yeah.
That makes sense. And I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. I didn't let the people know, are you originally born and raised from Milwaukee? Where'd you grow up?
Born and raised Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yep.
Okay. And now, how was it as you like growing up as a young kid and everything? Like, how were you? What was young Lee Poe like?
Young, like I said, I was always in church, but I was a wild boy, you know, growing up.
Yeah.
I thank God for my mother, my uncles, my grandmother. You know, it was young Lee Poe was wild. You know, about 8th grade, I had a specific conversation with a teacher. I won't say his name, but he said some words to me that stuck with me. He said, you being the way you are, you won't make it to C18. And I was like, it's something shifted like that. And I was like, nah, I want to have 10 kids. I want to have, you know, and I just started to change, you know. So about 8th grade, I started to really like change who I was.
Okay.
So what high school you went to?
I went to Madison.
Madhouse.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Because I identify only with the part of the music up to high school.
Yeah.
Because when I was in high school, that's what kept me interested in school.
Yeah.
It was because I was in concert band. I was in jazz band. You know.
Yeah.
And I had an influential teacher in my life too. When I was in high school, by the name of Ty Hansen.
Okay.
He had played with like B.B. King and some other people, Shaka Khan, Liza Back and Toronto. But just really fascinating person and great teacher.
Yeah.
So my first thing is, what was your first what was your first introduction to a musical instrument, and why the keys?
I never forget him. His name was Deacon Fox. I was playing the drums originally.
Okay.
But see, my grandmother was the type. She's very demanding.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, "You better be here playing the drums." Ooh. So I kind of got turned off from the drums, and I started to sit in the congregation. And then one day, Deacon Fox got up, and he brought this piano in, the old piano that was his.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he had a word, and he pulled me up. And at this time, I was about like 9. And he just told me, like, "You're going to do music. You don't see it now, but you're going to do music." And he said it starts with these keys. So I took the keys home, and the person who taught me my first song was my mom.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if she was playing it right, but she taught me my first song, and yeah, the rest was history. So I started playing keys, and then by the time I got to Faith Builder Church, I was done. Yeah.
Was it like a natural ability for you playing keys, or was it something like, okay, I really have to put in that, work to kind of learn? Like, of course, you always have to put in work and practice to learn and get better. But we know that sometimes people are just like naturally gifted in a sense, and sometimes people they play by ear. They don't even know how to read notes, and they able to.
And that was me.
To go. That was you.
So I play by ear, and I could like sit in front of a YouTube video and learn a song quick. But as far as like, I didn't get too deep into like music skills and reading music. I didn't learn that part.
Really?
As far as by ear, I can literally hear a song and I'll try to find the keys and just play it. Yep. So.
And that's what really truly shows you, like, hey, you got a different type of ability and talent to me. Because like if you're able just to hear a song and you find it on a thing, I think that's so cool to be able to do. But I mean, shout out to the person who kind of introduced you to it.
Yeah, Deacon
and like
Fox.
Deacon Fox. Like even at a young age, how old were you when that happened?
I was about 9.
Yeah, 9 years old, speaking that word over you.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
How did that feel, like, to see it kind of come full circle? Like, was it a moment where you were like, nah, I don't really know if this is really gonna happen, or and then it kind of clicked where you're like, oh snap, Deacon Fox told me this back when I was 9 years old that this was gonna be a thing.
Yeah, it's like full circle. I often think about them. It's different. Like I said, I got pastors in my family, so when they give me a word, not saying their word is not genuine, but it's just somebody like your family know your business.
Right.
So it's like, okay, you know me. But when he stepped up and said that, and then later on down the line, it was just like everybody who ran across me like, yo, I could tell you're a musician. I could tell you sing. And at this time, I wasn't singing. I'm like, no, I don't sing.
Yeah.
Oh, you a singer? And people would say that. I'm like, nah. And then just to see today, like, yo, it's been spoken of me in this, and it just took growth, like growing into it, getting out of my head, thinking like, oh man, I probably sound bad. That's of the devil.
Most definitely.
Most definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, so man, full circle for real.
At what point was it? Well, it's a 2-part question.
Okay.
So, was it always going to be gospel from you from the beginning? Was there ever a moment in your mind that you say, hey, let me move more towards like secular music, R&B, or anything like that? And then the other side of that is, what moment did you say, okay, you know what, I want to do this like on the daily. I want to do this as something that's part of my life.
Yeah. So it was always going to be gospel.
Okay.
My uncle, shout out to my uncle Leandre Poe. He's an R&B artist, super dope. I grew up. I actually he's like one of my people I look up to.
Okay.
So R&B was never my thing. I knew I was always going to do like Christian and gospel music.
Okay.
When it finally clicked for your second question, and I was like, I'm going to do this every day, my first release, Worth the Wait. When I released it, I just released it like, how we can have faith and do something, but it just still be that thing in the back of my mind, like, man, people might not
Most definitely.
receive this, and the whole time God do it. I told you to do this. So when I released it, it was just a feedback, like, yo, you don't know what this did to me. This is really ministering to me, and I'm just thinking like, man, little old me, like, So that's when it was like, yo, I gotta lock in, and there's more to come with it. Like people think you just do music just to do music, but honestly, it's a secret sauce, and the secret sauce is the secret place. So if you're not spending time with God, if you're not dwelling in His presence in private, it's not going to show in public. So
Yeah.
no matter what record you put out,
Mhm.
it might sound good skillfully,
Mhm.
but the anointing won't be there. So, but if you spend time with God and you seek God, then when you put it out, His anointing all over it. So.
Great.
No, that's
Yeah,
beautiful,
excellent.
man.
Yeah.
Like I really like that, and we understand like how impactful music can be.
Yeah.
So it's truly amazing. It's a blessing to see that you're using your gift and your talent to be able to reach people, and have an impact on their lives in a really positive way, and that speaks volumes. What is your like? What's a goal? You know, what's the end game when you have like when you look at music? What you want to do with it? What is your vision and your future for it?
Yeah, my goal is to. Most people will say like, "Oh, win a stellar, win awards." I don't care about awards. My goal is to put out as much material as I can that would penetrate God's people and save His people. And that's the end goal. Like
That's awesome.
I just want His people to be free.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not about the money. All that other stuff,
Yeah.
the extra stuff comes.
It will come with it.
But just focus on the mission.
Yeah.
So that's the goal.
And that it goes back to, like I said, seeking God first. Like when you seek
Yeah.
Him first, and when you're going after what He wants you to do in His will, He'll supply everything else that you
Everything
need.
else.
You don't have to worry about anything else. You don't gotta worry about the money. You don't gotta worry about anything like that. He's
Yep.
gonna give you everything that you need. So, man, continue on doing what you're doing with the music, man. It's truly a blessing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I do want to switch gears a little bit, and like I said, we talked about this a little bit off air, about this powerful testimony that you have that I really believe can help give a lot of other people faith, and
Yeah.
it can strengthen their faith a little bit more. And it comes with your son who's 1 year old now,
Yeah.
right? And you spoke about it, how you said, you know, that teacher said, oh yeah, you won't live to see what age was 18. And you're like, wait a minute, nah, I want to have a lot of kids, you know,
Yeah.
like I'm trying to do that. And you know, now you're blessed and you have four kids,
I got
right?
6.
Oh, you got 6 kids.
Yeah.
Okay, got 6
I ain't getting the
kids.
10 though.
Okay, you ain't getting
I'm
the
not
10.
getting the 10. Okay.
done with 6. But that was something that you wanted, and like now you're there and everything. But your recent child, you know, had a little bit of complications and
Yeah.
struggles. So for the listeners out there, just kind of speak about that situation a little bit and give us a little rundown about what happened.
So a little quick story. My son Adrian Poe, we call him Champ, was born early, 2023. He was born in April, was supposed to be born in June. Born with some complications, full of fluid. He was actually like born dead.
Mhm.
So just a rundown with that. We went through an incident while he was in the hospital born. A doctor pulled me in a private room and basically was like, you need to respect your son and pull the plug. He's not going to make it. And this doctor was like, I've been working for 12, 15 years.
Wow.
I've never seen a baby make it. At this point, I have to be truthful and tell you, like, my attitude, my temper
Yeah.
was there.
I was
And
going to ask you that too.
It was there. The anger was there. And I could just feel God, like, before you see him, walk out and start over.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk out, and with his start over meant pray.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk out, I'm praying, and then before I walk back in the room, I could literally hear God, like, ask him, has he ever seen a baby survive from this?
Mm-hmm.
So this before I knew he was going to pull me in a private room.
Right.
So then he pulled me in a private room, and he's just spilling his kidneys failing, heart failing, this failing. He's just spilling it all out.
Mm-hmm.
You just pull the plug. He's not going to make it. So then I almost forgot, and then I heard, ask him.
Mm-hmm.
So then I leaned up on the seat, and I'm like, have you ever seen a baby survive from this?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, not in my 15 years of practice. I said, well, this would be the first baby you see
Mm-hmm.
survive from this. And here we are. My son is doing well. He's moving around, mobile,
Man.
speaking, getting into everything. And yeah.
Mhm.
And you guys gave him the nickname Champ.
Champ,
Gave him the
yeah.
right name.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. What was this past April like when you turned home?
Oh, it was
That had to be kind of.
it was a lot of joy,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of like, you know, reflecting like, man, God is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes me and my wife would think like, because it's coming up October 9th when he actually came home.
Okay.
He spent 5 months in the NICU.
Oh,
So
Got you, yeah.
last
Yeah.
year was a long time. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
yeah, so he spent 5 months, so it's coming up. And sometimes we look at each other like, and we look at him,
Mm-hmm.
and we just be like, dude, you think about last year? Like,
Yeah.
everything we was going through with him and everything we was told, and like, he won't be able to do this, he
Yeah.
won't be able to do that. He's going to go home with a breathing tube, didn't come home with a breathing tube.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be on the G-tube
Yeah.
so just got the G-tube taken out. You know,
Wow.
so it's
That's a blessing.
it's all
Yeah,
God.
special young man. And like I said before, as we were talking out there, you know, God, I'm sure has something special planned for him,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
his life, and what he's going to do for others.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure you and your wife are like that's just such a blessing
Yeah.
to have him there, and also for his siblings as well.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to be there and to be a source of inspiration
Yeah.
for them as well. So
Mhm.
that's special.
Yeah, man. Like we serve a God that's like honestly, like I said, a miracle worker.
Yeah.
Right. Like for the doctor to say that I haven't seen somebody survive this in my 15 years of doing it, and for you to have that, it seems like you just spoke with such conviction.
Yeah.
When you said it.
Because
Right?
I'm telling
Like-
you, if I can explain it, like, how do I explain it? Mentally, I'm like drained.
Mm-hmm.
No, physically, I'm drained. I'm like, bro, like, this is my son.
Yeah.
And so, if you look at me, you like, yeah, he about to give up.
Yeah.
But it's like God just like, it's something about his supernatural strength.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to stand there and say that and believe it, it was just like, yo, I believe this.
Right.
My son is going to live. I'm not just saying this because he's my son.
Mm-hmm.
I know it started when she said we have a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And first thing I'm like, well, God, I know you got something for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was clear he was gone when he
Yeah.
came out. So
And let's talk about that part when she said he has a heartbeat, because we talked about this off air a little bit, and
Yeah.
you shared the story on Instagram, and I of course watched the video about it. And you spoke and you said, like, you know, how in that moment you said, you know, Lord, let your will be done.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. So just real quick, he came out pretty much no heartbeat, dead, and doctors were working on him for minutes. Minutes go by, and the doctor finally grabbed me, and she was just like, "What do you want me to do, Dad?" And I'm just like, "I don't know. I'm stuck." And she was like, "I'm going to try to save his life." I sat down back in the chair behind my wife because at this moment my wife is being cut on and everything. So, excuse me. I remember saying, I'm sitting there, and I just felt like God. I'm not gonna say I felt like I know. God took my head, and it was like everything in the room became slow motion. So, and when I tell this story, I used to be one to be like, hear people tell stories, and I'm like, man, they making this up. And I'm telling you, if you hear
There
me
you
say
go.
this, this is real, man. Look, I felt him take my head, and everything got slow motion, and he wanted me to see everything that was going on around me, which everything that was going on was a lot of chaos, a lot of running around, a lot of panic, doctors giving up, writing down times, checking times, and the whole time that doctor, she kept working on him through all that. So I finally turned back around in my seat, and I just remember I said, God, you know, if it's in your will, then save my son. If it's not, then I know you have better for him.
Yeah.
I'm already making peace. Like, I know you
Yeah.
have better for him. And at that moment, she was like, we have a heartbeat. I just feel like God was just sitting there like, I'm going to let this go on as long as I want to until you really invite me in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Invite me in. You're looking at the natural. And I need you to invite me in.
Yeah.
So the whole time it's just like, once I gave him the invitation, he just came in and did what he had to do. So at that moment is where I knew, like, no matter what the doctor said to me, I know he wouldn't have came back. He wouldn't have had a heartbeat if it wasn't a purpose. So.
And that last part is so impactful and so important when you said, if it's your will.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's so many people, other people, for you, even after you,
Yeah.
that are listeners or that may look back at this on video or whatever, that have lost their child.
Yeah.
And so it is not to say that God didn't love you any less.
Yeah. It's not.
You know, God actually really at that moment embraces you. So
Yeah.
for those listeners who may have lost a child at childbirth or soon thereafter, just know that God lifted you up and kept you in His embrace.
Yeah.
And that was His will, but you are even stronger for that.
Yeah.
To go on and give your own testimony
For sure.
as well. But that's powerful when you say that, hey, God, it's your will, because you were resigned to that fact,
Yeah.
if that was the case.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. And one thing I love that you just mentioned, Lee, is just the fact that, you know, it's about having that faith and I was listening to your song on the way here, and it's like not by sight, but by faith. And sometimes it's so easy for us to get caught up in the temporal things and looking at the things that we can see. And yes, our situation, it doesn't look the best in the moment. We see the storms coming. We see all these things that we going through, all these different trials. Our job is irritating us. Our kids are getting on our nerves. Our marriage, our spouse is irritating us. All these different things are piling up on us. And yet God is still saying, I still want you to have faith and understand that I'm there for you and I'm protecting you and I'm protecting you. And you don't have to worry about the battles and the stuff that's going around. What you see is not your situation. Understand that I'm going to bring you through whatever you're going through. And I think it's just so powerful, and it's important that we remember that, even during those times when things may look dark, when things may look dim, we continue to have to just have that faith and continue to follow God. And we have to understand that, oftentimes people believe that as you give your life to Christ and as you go on this walk, that everything is going to be perfect.
No.
And Jesus never tells us that one moment at all that, once you start to follow me and once you follow me, that everything in your life is going to be perfect. That's not what he says. Though. He actually tells us that we're going to go through persecution. Yeah. He actually tells us that we're going to go through trials. But he says, blessed are those who deals with persecution, and he goes through that. And it just kind of shows even though you go through these things, you still blessed and you still have favor. And I'm going to still be there right there by your side.
Yeah, so about that, it's like, I tell people often, like, I started facing a lot of more battles when I came on this side. Mm-hmm. And I tell people it's because your calling is great.
Yep.
And because it's great, the devil gonna try everything. So when I was out there smoking weed, I was at peace. I was good. Mm-hmm. It was a different kind of peace, but I was good. No worries. But then when I stepped into the calling, it was like, yo, God, what is this? Mm-hmm. And I often tell people, like, when you're going through, no matter what you're going through, as human, we tend to panic quick. Yeah. But if you just step back and give yourself a second and be like, God, I won't be anxious to nothing. Yeah.
What do you want me to do in this moment?
I'm going to pray, and what do you want? What should I do? And it's just like a sudden peace comes upon you, so no matter what, I mean, me and my wife done been through, and we're only 30 and she's 28, we done been through a lot financially. Yeah. We got some testimonies, so, and we done been in positions where your back against the wall and you don't have nobody, and God will put you in positions like, who you going to call on? And you just gotta seek Him.
Absolutely. No matter what. And then even we're gonna go a little bit over time, not too much, but when you talk, it's like that because I was reading today in Matthew, it's just like that idea of the straight and narrow path, right? And you said that how when you were out there living in the world, and same with me, when I was out there doing whatever I wanted to do, messing with whoever I wanted to mess with, it was fun. I was enjoying. I had quote unquote peace, and I was over there in loving that lifestyle, but internally, like, I was just dying inside. And it's like, at the end of the day, we're going to have to pick our heart, and we're going to have to pick our struggle, right? Because we think that it may be easy entering that wide gate, and walking on that path where everybody is walking on, where you're able to do whatever you want to do. You're able to give into all your lustful desires, your temptations. You're able to give it all and giving all to it. But at some point, that heart is going to really hit you, and you're going to come crumbling down because that foundation wasn't where it was supposed to be. Exactly. But when you decide to walk on that straight and narrow, and you decide to understand that, hey, you know what? I want to live this life to follow Christ and to please God, and I want to, it may be tough. Like, again, it's going to be tough, but you pick your heart, but it's going to be so much more worth it because when those trials do come and when those storms do come, you're able to be solid. That storm going to come, you're not going to fall because your rock is Christ, and your foundation is solid.
Yeah, so it's all about... I tell people all the time when they be like, well, should I do this and I do that? I be like, dude, first develop a prayer life. Because, like you said, the foundation, I'm nothing without God. So if I was to go crumble down back when I was in the world, man, I'd be a wreck. But now when things hit me, it's just like, I'm good. Because I kind of laugh at stuff when
the stuff comes up, you're like,
the bill say what? It's good. We'll be going to get paid.
Don't even worry about it.
We're not gonna worry about that. Let's go eat.
Oh man.
So
no doubt. Well, Lee, it was a pleasure having you on. And we're gonna get to where people contact you in a minute. Yeah. But I do want to ask you this, since like you said, we're gonna run just a little bit over. I want to ask you this. Oftentimes, Jordan and I would have a question that we would call the question of the day or whatever, but. I'm sure you listen to, of course, other gospel artists as well, right? So, if you were on an island and you can only have two, not CDs, what is it called? Like two songs,
Two records.
two records by whatever artist
Yeah.
in those songs. What would the artist be, and what would the song be? And then also, what either Bible verse or quote, if you could look at it every day, would you have?
As far as artists, I'm sorry, I gotta look.
No, it's all good. It's a tough one.
As far as artists, I would say Todd Dulaney.
Okay. That's a good
The song No Weapon.
one.
Okay.
Okay, that's one.
All right.
Second artist, ooh, it's tough. I'm gonna go Todd Galbraith.
Okay.
So Todd and Todd.
You're right. Both times.
He got so many. Oh man, I'm gonna go. You Remain. So it's basically a song talking about how guys remain the same. You know, so many other things change, but he'll always remain the same. So
Great.
as far as Bible verse, I'm gonna say Hebrews 11:1. You know, so I got a lot.
Yeah.
But it just says Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see. So,
Kind of what we was just talking about, right?
Yeah.
so that's one of my. It's actually me and my wife go to like
That's awesome.
the verse. I read that every day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's beautiful,
That's
man.
great.
Well, I appreciate you for coming on, man. It was such a blessed conversation. I pray that our viewers like really receive stuff. Let the people know where they can find you if they want to find out more about you, your music and
Your
stuff like
music,
that too.
Okay, yeah. So my name is Leandre Poe. That's Leandre. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Same name, Leandre Poe. I'm streaming on all platforms. Whatever you stream your music on, just plug my name in and you'll find it.
What's the song that they should look up right now?
Here I Am. It's pretty dope.
Mhm.
Here I Am. That's my recent release, but I got a release coming out, so be on the lookout for that. It's called Still Chose Me, featuring Felicia Renee.
Awesome.
Oh,
man.
awesome.
Man, it was such a blessing, man. Continue to do what you're doing out there for the kingdom. Like I said, you're going to go far with this music. This is just the beginning, man.
Yes, sir.
So I'm truly blessed to have been able to meet you.
Yeah.
And just to be able to see, you know, how God is going to continue to use you, brother.
Yeah,
so
man.
it's a blessing.
It is. God bless our listeners. Take care. We'll talk to you next time.
All right.
Yeah.
God bless.
Yeah.
God bless.